Hey Pretty Girl Club, this video is called What Kind of Pretty Privilege Do You Have and What Kind of Pretty Privilege Do You Want? There is no wrong answer, but when I think about what kind of pretty privilege you have, the way that I feel like you can figure that out is, for example, you can ask yourself, okay, what celebrity look-alike do I have, or what celebrity do people say that I remind them of? So in my case, people have said that my clothing and stuff reminds them of someone like Michelle Obama or Olivia Pope. It's because sometimes I dress like very professional, or like Meghan Markle or something like that. So that tells me that a part of my pretty privilege is the professional type of pretty privilege. So dressing in the classy outfits and stuff. So you can begin to examine the experiences you've had in your life, and you can go back and think about the compliments that you've received, and that's actually going to help you to decipher the type of pretty privilege that you are operating in. So if somebody says at the gym, for example, that's another area where I feel like I get compliments is at the gym. People will say that they really like my outfits and that I look very like athletic and stuff and I look cute in my gym sets. So to me, I feel like my pretty privilege then is kind of the athletic pretty privilege or like the suburban pretty privilege. So if I have a combination of kind of the professional beauty or whatever and then the athletic, like the cute little gym sets and yoga sets, to me, it's giving like LA baddie or something like that, or kind of like, and I'm not trying to say it like about myself, like bragging or anything, but you can begin to kind of build up a pyramid of the types of pretty privileges, because I believe that there are many different types of pretty privilege, but you yourself can begin to privilege stack in the area of beauty. And so for you, maybe people always commented with your hair, like, and they said that it was really pretty. Well, what kinds of hairstyles were you wearing? Were you wearing sleek hairstyles, like a straight fashion model look or something? Or were you wearing big romantic curls? Were you wearing like braids or something? Maybe you had like more of a bohemian looking hairstyle. Asking yourself questions like that and kind of looking back on the types of compliments you received, that can help you to determine what kind of pretty privilege you had. And some of you guys might be asking, why does it matter? Why does pretty privilege matter? Well, some of us like to look good. Some of us enjoy the lifestyle that comes along with looking good. Whether you like it or not, people are giving and receiving pretty privilege 24/7. So for those of you who try to say beauty doesn't matter and looks don't matter, okay, looks may not matter to you, and that's fine, but that just means that you are choosing to not receive pretty privilege, and that's okay. There is no wrong answer. I'm not sure why you'd be watching this video, but there's no wrong answer. And so this channel talks a lot about privilege stacking and living the soft life. So I just want the women on this channel to be able to have an opportunity to live a life that is easy for them and to live a life that is as stress-free as possible. My goal with talking about pretty privilege on this channel is to help women to feel seen and heard, and to help women to feel validated, because even though we are pretty, even though this is the Pretty Girl Club over here, pretty girls still deserve validation as well. So ugly girls aren't the only ones who can get validation. And I don't like using the term ugly, but that's the only term I can think of that is like the opposite of being pretty. So you know what I mean. But it's like, I feel like a lot of people try to go out of their way to make sure that the pretty girl does not have confidence and does not have self-esteem. So here on this channel, I am here to dismantle the humbling tactics that people have used on pretty women, because my personal theory is that if you are pretty, you have most likely had thousands of people throughout your life and thousands of instances throughout your life of people trying to humble you, whether it's a guy trying to humble you because he's mad that you rejected him, or a girl trying to humble you so that she can feel like she's more attractive than you. And so this channel and these talking points and all of these videos on pretty privilege and pretty girl problems, they are meant to bring back your validation. They are meant so that you can begin to take back your identity. And so you can take back your sense of self instead of allowing other people to take it away from you. So as far as what kind of pretty privilege you have, what you can do is you can think of the prettiest person that you know, or maybe a pretty celebrity. So for me, I'm thinking of Rihanna just off the top of my head. I personally feel like Rihanna has a very fluid type of pretty privilege. Sometimes I feel like Rihanna almost has an androgynous version of pretty privilege, because if you look at some of her older pictures and stuff from the early 2000s, she does almost like these masculine types of fashion looks and stuff. So you get to decide what type of pretty privilege you want. For some people, they don't want to look androgynous. I know for me personally, I would not want to look androgynous or like a tomboy. That's just not my personal style. But there is no right or wrong way to do it. One is not better than the other. You get to decide for yourself which pretty privilege you feel will help you to social climb or will help you to feel the most confident about yourself. Some women like to look pretty because maybe they're trying to date a guy who fits into that form of pretty privilege. Like, for example, for me personally, if I had to choose a type as far as dating, it would be a professional type of MLS man, like with money. So kind of like a Barack Obama type, not Barack Obama himself, but that archetype. And so I think that that is why on a subconscious level, I tend to dress kind of like how Michelle Obama does. And I didn't realize that I was doing that, but that's because I've always liked that look. I've always found that look to be attractive, like the very pretty like business dresses and the cute like matching sets and stuff, and you know, the little sweaters and cardigans and all that. So I've always thought that that was cute, kind of that old money look. So for some of you guys, you may want to take on a certain look or experiment with a certain type of look because it will help you to navigate in different spaces. On this channel, I talk a lot about having a fluid identity. I do believe that your beauty and the way that you look, that influences your fluid identity. So some of you, you may want to take on the traditional style of beauty that is associated with your heritage. We've got a lot of multiracial women on this channel. So I've heard a lot of you guys talk about how you want to incorporate more traditional clothing into your style. You want to wear like the traditional head wraps and the earrings and stuff, kind of like the tribal designs and all that. Or maybe you've always wanted to wear a flower in your hair because people from the island that you're from, they always wore that. And that was a symbol of their beauty. So you get to be creative with it. But the first step to being creative and changing the type of pretty privilege you have is you have to assess where you're at right now in terms of pretty privilege. So for some of you, you might be thinking, I do not feel pretty right now, or I feel like I'm average. And that's okay because there is no such thing as a perfect woman. There's no such thing as a person that looks 100% perfect all the time. But what you can do is you can begin to analyze yourself. You can analyze what your internal beauty standards are, and there is no wrong answer. I've noticed that a lot of people, they try to shame you for having beauty standards that are different than theirs. So for example, let's say my beauty standard is a golden skin tone and curly dark hair, and somebody else's beauty standard is a dark-skinned, unambiguous black woman, and then they call me a colorist. No, me having a different internal beauty standard than you, that doesn't automatically make me a colorist. I don't think that people who think Taylor Swift is pretty are racist because Taylor Swift is white. No, it is possible for people to actually think Taylor Swift is pretty. It's possible for people to actually think a certain phenotype or a certain style or certain colors are pretty. And I personally do not get offended by that because I don't live my life based on how many people think that I'm the most beautiful person in the world. Because first of all, there's no such thing as the most beautiful woman in the world. There are thousands of different types of beauty. In my opinion, there are at least thousands. There could potentially be millions of different types of beauty. And throughout this video, I'm going to show all different kinds of beauty, all different kinds of skin tones and phenotypes and fashion styles and stuff. So you can begin to get a picture on how creative you really can be when it comes to your beauty. And also, what you can do is you can create your own beauty standard for yourself and start working towards it. So I know that for me personally, I like straight white teeth. I do kind of prefer like the veneers as far as the smile and stuff. That's kind of my preferred look in terms of teeth. And I'm saying that because the way I created my unique beauty standard was I went feature by feature and then I decided, okay, what kind of eyebrows do I think are like the prettiest in general? Okay, I tend to favor thicker eyebrows. Some people tend to favor the thin eyebrows like from the 90s and stuff. But you can begin to think about it like, what kind of eyebrows do I think look the best? What type of eye color do I think is the prettiest? Okay, let's say it's a different eye color than what I naturally have. Am I willing to wear contacts to test out that eye color and to see how it looks on me? Or do I care more about having natural beauty as opposed to having perfected beauty? Because some people, even though they feel like other things may look better, they prefer their natural beauty. And then there are others who are kind of like me where I don't really care if it's natural or fake. Like I've literally worn purple contacts before because I just wanted to try it out and see if it looks cute. So for me personally, as long as I look pretty, I don't really care how that beauty is attained. I don't really care if I had to pay for it. I don't care if it's natural. I don't care if I have to maintain a certain diet in order to have that beauty. I've noticed that the only people who try to shame you for your beauty are people who are jealous because they are not leveled up. They aren't working towards their own beauty standard. And by the way, this whole journey, it's supposed to be fun. The journey of becoming your most beautiful self, your most privileged self. The way that I began to step into this was I started asking myself, who do I want to be pretty for? So at first, I thought that I only wanted to be pretty for the male gaze. And this is like in my early 20s. I thought, oh, I just wanted to be pretty so I could like get a husband one day who's going to like protect and provide and all that crap. But then even after I got married at the time, I still was like, no, I still want to be pretty. Like, even though I'm married, like, whether or not my husband cares about me looking cute or wearing pink nail polish and all that, I genuinely do want to be pretty for me. So I really do think that there is a such thing as wanting to be pretty for yourself, because for me, I feel like when I look pretty, it really does increase my sense of confidence, because I genuinely do feel like taking care of my beauty, it's a form of self-love. I consider it to be a form of self-love for me. It's an expression of my love for myself. It is an expression of how much I care about my body, how much I care about my hair. And beauty is a core piece of my identity. And I'm not afraid to say that. And who gon' check me? Being beautiful is important to me. So I don't have to be beautiful to everyone in the world, as long as I feel beautiful within myself. And as long as I look in the mirror and say, okay, yes, I put some effort into myself. Wow, I've really been killing it at the gym. Wow, I ate my pretty girl salad today. I feel beautiful. That is all that I need. I don't need people to like rate me on a scale of 1 to 10 and rate me a 10 out of 10. And, I have to try to like compare to all these celebrities and follow all the trends and stuff. I don't particularly care for beauty trends. I care more about what I feel looks best on me. Like, I care about my pretty privilege reflecting myself. I want to look like myself, if that makes sense. So think of yourself at your prettiest. That is what I mean when I say I want to look like myself. Like, when I imagine the most leveled up version of myself in my mind, what am I thinking about? That's how I determined what my beauty standard is. So I've noticed that when I think of my most leveled up version of myself, I think of myself as thin as possible, not looking anorexic or anything, but as thin as possible, not having fat, like having muscle tone. I think of myself having long hair because I tend to prefer longer hair. I am planning on experimenting with like very long hair, like I'm talking like past 20 inches as far as extensions, because I'm really tall. And so the last time that I wore long extensions last summer, it looked really cute. So I'm going to test that out again this year. So you get to be creative with it, and you can start thinking, okay, what hair color do I imagine myself having? Do I have a beauty standard as far as hair color? Like, do I think a certain hair color looks the prettiest? Or do I just not care and I just want to be able to switch things up with myself? Okay, I just had to pause it for a second so I could get my iced latte and sip this while I'm recording. But another thing that I've had to remember is that no matter what pretty privilege I have, people are going to stereotype me. So if I am wearing a suit and if I am wearing professional clothing, people tend to stereotype me as older. Not old like looking older than I am, but I naturally look a lot younger than what I really am. So I'm in my early 30s, but I've noticed a lot of people tend to think that I'm in college. I still have a hard time believing that, but some people genuinely have thought that I was a student multiple times. So when I wear my professional clothes, kind of like the Michelle Obama outfits and stuff, I've noticed that that will give me pretty privilege, and it also gives me a more mature pretty privilege. So that is something that I have thought about as well, is like, okay, what kind of pretty privilege stereotypes do I want? I do believe that there are stereotypes that come with every single type of pretty privilege. So for example, let's say that you like to dress like somebody who went to Coachella. So kind of like that Bohemian look. Let's say you like to dress like that. The positive stereotypes that I associate with that type of beauty is I think of you as someone who is carefree. I think of you as someone who probably eats healthy. Maybe you eat vegan, or you're more likely to be vegetarian or something. If I were to see a girl walking around with like boho jewelry and stuff, I would kind of give a positive stereotype of, oh, maybe she kind of cares about like the earth and nature and stuff. Maybe she also does yoga as her form of working out. That's kind of how I would stereotype. So I want you to think about the positive stereotypes that are associated with each different kind of pretty privilege. And then you get to decide which positive stereotypes would I like to play into today. So part of the reason why I like to dress professionally is because I really do feel like sometimes when I was in the workplace, if I looked very young, like younger than normal, and then if I wore casual clothes, I felt like people stereotyped me as more of a young girl, like in my early 20s. So looking younger is good, but in the workplace, I wanted to be seen as being more experienced and stuff. So I liked the stereotype that came with wearing those power suits and stuff like that and wearing the high heels. I liked when people began to associate me with being this powerful, more assertive, professional woman. I liked those stereotypes. So what you can do is you can start to break down in your head all of the different types of beauty and what the positive stereotypes are that are associated with that kind of beauty, and then you get to pick and choose. Which positive stereotypes would I like to play into? So for example, when I go to the gym, I like to play into the positive stereotype of being the athletic gym girly, kind of like the gym rat, the girl who can like lift weights and look cute while doing it. I like playing into that. So that is why when I go to the gym, I like to always wear a cute outfit or like a matching set or something like that, because I like the positive stereotypes that are associated with me. So even though it can be kind of annoying when other girls start to copy my workouts and stuff, that actually tells me that I am playing into those stereotypes. They are positively stereotyping me. Even though I am not a personal trainer, they are looking at me and looking at my body and my cute outfit and stuff, and they are assuming that because I'm in the gym and I'm just doing my workout and I have on a cute workout set, that I kind of know what I'm doing. So I enjoyed playing into that positive stereotype. I actually started playing into that so much so to the point where people who worked at the gym, they tried to recruit me to become one of the little teachers, like the gym teachers and stuff, and to become a trainer, because I stood out so much with like wearing my cute outfits, showing up at the gym every day. But the reason I was dressing like that in reality though was because associating myself with those positive stereotypes when I looked in the mirror, that helped me to have the motivation to feel more ready to go to the gym. So the same thing was true with dressing professionally in the workplace, like my cute little blazers and stuff. It helped me to actually stereotype myself positively. So you can play into it both ways. You can play into other people's positive stereotypes of you or your own positive stereotypes of that particular outfit or that particular type of beauty. And then you can dress yourself up as that. And then it should affect your confidence in a positive way. Another thing about pretty privilege is that there are always two sides to the coin. So there is the positive side of people giving you the positive stereotypes, but then there's the negative side of the coin where each type of pretty privilege has negative stereotypes associated with it. So for example, me dressing up in the suits all the time, I noticed that people did tend to view me as more snobby than normal, or like she thinks she's better. People viewed me more like that, or they would make more comments like that when I would wear kind of the sweater sets and all that and dress like a rich girl, for lack of better words. Whenever I dress like that, people would give that negative stereotype more versus when I was just wearing sweatpants and like the cute little urban outfits. So what you can do is you can ask yourself, what are the pros and cons of each type of pretty privilege? What are the pros and cons of wearing casual clothes all the time? What are the pros and cons of looking super young? What are the pros and cons of looking more mature? So it's really funny because because I look younger than I am, I really get annoyed when people treat me like I'm super young because I'm 32 and people have literally treated me like a college student in a bad way, like trying to tell me what to do, acting like I don't know anything, literally getting yelled at. This literally has become so bad to where I have made videos about this, or I have made audios about this in my Patreon. But for some people who are older than me, they get facelifts and they get surgeries so that they can look younger and because they want to be treated like they are younger. So even though I may get annoyed with being treated like I'm a dumbass, basically, even if I looked really old, I'm sure that there are pros and cons to looking older and like how people will treat you if they perceive you as like a senior citizen who, who is not able-bodied or something like that. So for me, it has been important to remember that no matter what type of pretty privilege I have, there will be cons that come with that type of pretty privilege. And this is why I also prefer to have a fluid pretty privilege. I prefer to give myself the freedom to dress however I want or to do whatever hair colors I want so that I can switch it up all the time. That's just me though. I prefer a fluid pretty privilege. For some of you, you prefer a signature look. Like that is your look, like the long silky black hair and the cocoa skin tone. That's your signature look. Or maybe you like having a signature scent, like the Prada perfumes. That's your signature scent. Or anything that's made by Juicy Couture is something that you're going to wear, and that is okay. There's no right or wrong way to do it. But I think that when it comes to pretty privilege, you have a choice on what type of pretty privilege you want. But not every type of pretty privilege will be as easy for you to attain. So some people, they like to go after whatever the easiest pretty privilege is for them. So for example, maybe you are a darker skinned mixed woman and your beauty standard is a darker skinned mixed woman. Maybe you made that your standard for yourself because you feel like, wait a minute, I was already born like this anyway. So it's easy for me to just be the pretty privileged standard within what I already look like. And I've seen women do this as well, like no matter what their skin tone or race is. Some women, they will be plus size, for example, and maybe they don't want to lose the weight. And you know what? It's their body. They have a right to lose weight or not lose weight. So there are some women who they don't care about being skinny and they will stay big, like they don't mind, but they will be like the BBW, the big beautiful woman. So they will just meet the beauty standard within their body size that they already have, or they will meet the beauty standard with the hair color they already have, the natural hair color they have. Or they will meet the beauty standard for whatever their ethnicity is or something like that. And that is fine as well. So like that's an option that you can do. I've noticed that it does tend to be easier when you do it that way. And then there are people like myself. I would consider myself to be somewhere in the middle. So I am open to changing myself, but I don't think that I would ever do a change that is like irreversible. Well, besides like my teeth or something, I don't know. But other than that, I don't think I would ever like shave my jaw or, something where it's like I can't easily fix it if I decide that I don't like it. So I would say that I'm somewhere in the middle with that, where I like to change myself more, but I like the changes that I make with my beauty to just be temporary. So for example, I've never dyed my natural hair, but I will wear wigs and weaves that have different hair colors in them, like with highlights and stuff. And I've noticed that there are other women who are very similar to that. So they might get lip fillers or something, but they know that the lip fillers are going to dissolve as the years go on. So if they decide, oh, I don't like it, then they just won't get it redone and they'll just let it kind of run its course. And then there are those who have what I call transformative beauty standards. I just kind of made that up because that's the best way I can think of to describe it. So these are the women who they are willing to transform themselves however they feel is necessary so that they can meet their exact beauty standard, whatever that is. So these would be people like Kylie Jenner. They are willing to change up their whole face, their whole skin tone, their whole entire hair color, wear some contacts if they need to, get a BBL, get liposuction, get a boob job, get whatever they want to get so that they can meet their exact beauty standard. They don't care if they look nothing like how they did before. They don't care if they are risking the surgeries getting messed up. They'll just get them redone. So these are the people who they're willing to get the surgeries and stuff. They will be saving up their money so that they can do their level up journey. And I do not look down on any of those level up journeys on this channel. I do not encourage or discourage any particular one because women are not a monolith. Some women like how they look naturally and they don't want to change anything whatsoever, or they just want to make minor changes like shaving their legs or, I don't know, getting laser hair removal. And then there are others who they like to glam it up a little bit. Maybe they'll get some makeup and stuff. And then, as you go further along the spectrum, you're going to have people who they want to try the Botox. They want to try lip fillers. They want to try, I don't know, different skin treatments and stuff or chemical peels. Like for me, I'm way too scared to get a chemical peel. Like I've seen the pictures of people. I know that it makes your skin very smooth and it makes you like not have wrinkles, but I am just too scared of my skin peeling off like a snake. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I would pick it off or something. But there are people who are willing to do different things than others. So I don't shame people for their beauty standards. The whole point of me talking about this topic is so you can take back your identity and so you can take back your own beauty because it's your beauty. You get to decide exactly what you want to look like. You get to decide how beautiful you want to be, or, whether you want to be super beautiful in the eyes of society, whether you want to be super beautiful in the eyes of the Black community, the white community, the Asian community, the Native community, the suburban community, the urban community. You get to decide what type of beauty you want to have, and there is no wrong answer. I do not believe in beauty superiority. So like, oh, one type of beauty is better than another type of beauty. I don't believe in that. So I don't like when people try to come on here and say, oh, well, she has a BBL, so like she's fake. Her beauty is like beneath somebody else's. No, I do not put certain types of beauty on a hierarchy above others, because if a woman got a BBL, there's a reason that she got that BBL. Maybe she always had a small butt or something and she really wanted to have that. Or maybe she is a sex worker and BBLs are popular within her industry, so it's literally increasing her income. I don't know. There are thousands of reasons why people change the way they look. But I'm talking about this topic because I want you guys to begin to analyze in a fun way, like, hey, how do I want to look? Because it's my body. I can choose to look however I want. I can be as bright as I want. I can be as dark as I want. I can have my hair as curly as I want it or as straight as I want it. I can make it blonde. I can make it red. And so it's supposed to be fun. I talk on this channel about how I am not somebody else's Barbie doll. My beauty is not political. If your beauty is political, that's fine. But my beauty is not political. My beauty is not... Like, my body doesn't belong to somebody else. My beauty doesn't belong to somebody else. So no, I do not have to have a certain type of beauty in order to show solidarity with a certain group of people. You know how people are like, oh, you shouldn't get lip fillers because that's fake. But it's like, okay, that person, she is not required to never do something that she wants to do in order to prove to strangers that she's real. Like, no, some people don't care about proving to you that they're real, or proving to you that they're pro-Black, or trying to prove to you that they love their afro, or prove to you that they love their nose by never getting a nose job. No, I don't owe you anything. I don't owe others anything. I don't owe my family members anything. I've heard some people where they will say, oh, I don't want to get a nose job. I don't know. Let's say you don't like your nose, or let's say you feel like it messes up your whole face or something, and then you want to get a nose job, but you are too scared because you are afraid of what your family will think, or maybe you feel like your family will be insulted because that's where you got your features from. But still, it's your body, so you do not owe your family a certain nose because they decided to birth you and they just wanted to see what you look like. No, if you genuinely wanted to change yourself, or if you genuinely feel like you would look better with a different type of look, even if that includes plastic surgery, then that is your personal business. It's nobody's business. Nobody else has control over your body. Nobody else is living this world as you. So that's why I am talking about this topic. It's to get you to realize that it is your identity. It's your face. It's your hair. It's your body. It's your skin tone. They're your teeth. It's your boobs, your butt, whatever. You can do whatever you want with it or make it look however you want. And you have the freedom to experiment with whatever different types of pretty privilege you want to experiment with. So if you feel like there is a particular pretty privilege that comes with having a small nose, which I personally believe there is, because in the Black community, like featureism is like a really big thing. So I have noticed that if I use the Black community as an example, that's the one I'm most familiar with, they do tend to associate smaller noses with being more feminine or whatever. Or, as opposed to, let's say you have a Jay-Z nose or something. I have noticed that people will try to make fun of if a woman has bigger noses. Some women don't care. Like myself, I don't think I would ever get like a nose job. Like, some women don't care, but there are other women who do care. And I'm not going to shame the women who do care and who decide to experiment with doing something different with their face. That is your personal business. Because remember, there are pros and cons to every type of beauty. So with the small nose thing, I can use that as an example again. I've noticed that people with small noses, they tend to have more of a tendency to have smile lines. That's what I have noticed just by looking up thousands of pictures and being around people in real life of all ethnicities who have the very tiny, narrow noses, I've noticed that as they get a lot older, like into their 40s, 50s, and 60s, they do seem to have more of the parentheses smile lines. Whereas if I see people with larger noses, for some reason, I don't know if it's because when you have a bigger nose, when you smile, maybe your face can't form as much of a smile line. I'm not sure. That's just my personal opinion. I literally have nothing to back that up. But for some people, maybe they feel like having a small nose is very important. But like I said, there are pros and cons with every type of beauty. So I personally think that when you have a small nose, it draws more attention to other parts of your face, like your eyes or your lips. So if you feel like your eyes or your eye shape or your lips and your lip shape are not as attractive, having a larger nose can actually help to kind of balance out your face, or it can help to draw the attention away from your other features. So like I said, that is your choice. Your pretty privilege is your choice. And I am a firm believer that you have control of whatever type of pretty privilege you want. The only thing is, certain types of pretty privilege may be harder for you to attain. That's it. So some people, they are skinny and like they've always been skinny. They've never struggled with their weight. And so they don't have to pay for liposuction. And then there are others who maybe they want thin privilege, but they have to pay for liposuction. Who cares? The result is the same. So when it comes to going on your pretty privilege journey, you get to decide, okay, what type of pretty privilege do I have? How do people compliment me? Who do people tend to compare me to in terms of celebrities? And when it comes to them comparing me to that person, or maybe it's not a celebrity, maybe they compare you to your sister or your mom. Okay, what do you have in common with them? Is it hair color? Is it the way that you dress? Is it your bubbly personality or something like that? Are you very petite? I've noticed that a lot of people tend to associate being petite with like being cute and fun size. I've noticed that some people will call it fun size. And then if you're more like my size, like very tall, people tend to associate that with being a model or like model-esque. I've noticed that's what people call me, like model-esque or statuesque or something. So you get to decide what type of beauty you want to have. Do you want an elegant beauty, kind of like more of a classic beauty, meaning that no matter what setting you go into, your outfit is appropriate for the setting, your makeup and stuff is appropriate for the setting, so just very classic looking? Or do you want more of an eclectic beauty? I think of girls like Willow Smith. She has a very eclectic look. She has a very artsy look. So you get to decide, okay, what kind of lifestyle do I want to live? And what type of pretty privilege do I feel goes with that lifestyle? So if I really want to be a yoga teacher, is there any beauty standard that I feel fits that? And am I willing to try wearing a cute yoga outfit? Will that increase my pretty privilege when it comes to being a yoga teacher? Will that cause people to view me as like more competent at my job? Or will it not make a difference? Does it affect my own confidence? Does it build my confidence? I guess my thing is, if something builds your confidence up, I don't care what it is, you should do it. I don't care what it is. If it builds your confidence up and it is not actively harming you, then you should do it. So that could be dressing cute. It could be wearing makeup. It could be changing your hair color or doing curls or something. I always feel very feminine when I wear my hair curly. I've noticed that when I wear my hair curly, I feel very feminine and soft. And when I wear my hair straight, I feel more model-esque and more like, I don't know. In fact, people tend to, whenever they compliment me when my hair is straight, they do tend to use words like model-esque or model or statuesque or elegant. Whereas when my hair is curly, people say beautiful or cute or pretty. So what types of beauty do you attribute to certain hairstyles? When I think of blonde, I really do think of the stereotype, like blondes have more fun kind of. So I know that when my hair is blonde, especially when it's blonde and curly, I really do feel very summery and bright. And I feel very like, I don't know, I tend to wear blonde in the summertime because I just tend to associate blonde hair with the summer. I don't know why, but I like how it makes me feel when it's sunny outside, you know, it's bright outside, and then my hair is bright to match. That makes me feel feminine and it makes me feel beautiful, and that is okay. And also, it's okay to experiment with your look. And if you're scared to experiment, you can try something really small. Let's say you want to try a new nail polish color. You can just try it on your toes. And then, like, if it looks ugly or something, guess what? You can put on some closed toe shoes, put on some tennis shoes or some boots, and nobody's going to see it. The way that I started experimenting with my beauty was I started small. I started with a new nail color, maybe a new eyeshadow color. Maybe I would try a headband. I've never really been into headbands before, so let me try. Maybe next time I will try to wear a bow in my hair. Maybe I'll try to wear those little sparkly bobby pins and see how that looks on me. You know what? Next time, I think I want to try some clip-on bangs. When I tried my clip-on bangs, oh my God, that like changed my life. But anyway, this is random, but I feel like straight across bangs, at least on me. Well, and I noticed too, this other girl, she was an MLS girl in the coffee shop this morning. She was black and Filipino. She had to be black and Filipino. So when I saw her, I thought she was Filipino, but then she turned around and I can see the kind of the sides and edges of her hair and all that, and I was like, oh, she's like black and Filipino. Like I can tell by her hair texture. So but the straight across bangs, because I don't normally see black women who are monoracial, or even black women in general of any mix, because I don't see black women of any mix wearing straight across bangs, I felt like that made her look so ambiguous to my eye to where I did not clock any blackness at all. And then when I noticed from the side kind of her natural curls popping out, then I started to notice, oh wait, her face is like very like African American looking, and her. So I just thought it was really cool how something as simple as straight across bangs can subliminally affect my mind to the point where I now associate you with something totally different. I thought that that was pretty cool. And also, she looks so cute. Like, I've noticed that straight across bangs look really cute if you have a high bun. And it doesn't matter if the bangs are straight or curly. I've just noticed that they're just very pretty, depending on your face shape. But anyway, you get to play around with that because the way you look is a form of influence. You are influencing people's perception of you based on how you look. And the only people who get mad about looks or like, I guess you could call it like pretty politics, or I don't know, desirability politics. I've noticed that the people who get mad about that, they're just mad because they do not feel desirable. They feel like they are at the bottom of desirability. But in my opinion, that is a personal problem that you can easily solve. Well, it may not be easy, but it is a problem that you can solve. So all you have to do is decide, what is it about me that makes me feel undesirable? Is it my hair, my face, my skin tone, my nose, my boobs, my weight? And if it is one of those things, can I change it? Do I feel comfortable changing it? Because remember, I've talked about privilege on this channel. The only way to navigate this society that we live in is to understand that, number one, privilege is not going anywhere. Somebody in this world will always be receiving privilege. And my mindset is, look, why not me? Like, if I'm not going to receive the privilege, somebody else is, so why not me? Like, why not try to use whatever privilege I have in this world to get ahead or to make a good life for myself or to meet my own personal goals? Like, why would I want to be at the bottom, quote unquote? Why would I want to fail in every area of my life? No, I don't want to fail. And so the bottom line is, the world that we live in, it's not fair. We do not live in a world that is filled with justice. We don't live in a world where everybody's treated equally and nobody cares if you're 500 pounds. They're going to treat you the same way that they would treat a supermodel. That's delusional to have that sort of thinking point or that talking point. That's delusional. So instead of me living in Delulu land, I decided to be realistic about the world that I'm living in. And I've decided, hey, what privileges do I want? What privileges do I feel are most important to me? And then, am I willing to pursue those privileges at all costs? Because you only have two options. Either change yourself to attain XYZ privilege, or accept the fact that you will never have that privilege and you will always be beneath somebody else who does have that privilege. So which one's easier for you? There is no wrong answer. For some people, they can accept the fact that, you know, they are quote unquote at the bottom in their own minds, and they can live with that. I don't know how they can do that. I personally could not do that. I personally would try to change myself or work my butt off however I needed to give myself as many privileges as possible. So for example, let's say I was born in the hood. I wouldn't just accept the fact that, oh, this is just how I was born. I was just born in this underprivileged area. No, I personally would change myself so that I can get out of that underprivileged situation. I would change myself, meaning I went to college. You know, I changed something about myself. I now have the credentials to get a better job so I can afford somewhere better to live. Or I will work multiple jobs so I can save up so I can live with roommates in a better part of town. So there's nothing wrong with being willing to change certain aspects of your beauty if you want to test out a certain type of privilege. Because for some people, that privilege is worth it. Like for me, when I tested out being super thin, because I was already skinny, I was like, oh, I could try to like lose weight even more and just see like how skinny can I get, like how toned can I get, and does it make a difference in how I'm treated, or does it make a difference in how I feel and stuff. And so once I ended up losing even more weight, even though I was already skinny. I was already a size 6 and I lost an additional 30 pounds, which is very tight. So I was underweight, obviously, like quite underweight. I noticed that, yes, for me, it was worth it because not only did I feel healthy because I was still like eating and stuff, but I was just doing more long distance running. So that's what caused me to be very slim. But I liked it. So, yes, it did make a difference for me. It made a big difference for me to the point where it affected my confidence in a positive way. So, I believe that every woman has the right to feel beautiful. I believe that every woman has the right to make herself into being beautiful, whatever that means to her. So if that means losing weight, whether you have to go to the gym or get the surgery or get your mouth wired, or I don't know what they do to like lose a lot of weight, but take Ozempic, I don't know. Whatever it is that you have to do it, I don't believe that you should shame people for the methods that they use because number one, all that's going to do is lead to more gatekeeping, as we see. Like, look at celebrities. A lot of celebrities, they'll go and get like tons of plastic surgeries and then they won't tell anybody about it. You know why? Because they know that people's hating asses are going to say something negative about it anyway. So they're like, no, you know what? This is none of your business. I don't have to tell you shit. I'm going to gatekeep my shit and I'm just going to enjoy the newfound pretty privilege that I had. And I'm just going to enjoy my new face. And you're just going to keep on wondering how I got my new face. And I will never tell you my secrets. I will just go about my life with a pretty face now and enjoy my newfound pretty privilege and just continue to stack money off of my new pretty privilege. So I really don't think that it is helpful when people try to shame another person's method of how they attain their pretty privilege. I don't shame other people who want to change themselves and look pretty. I only shame people when you make fun of me and when you make fun of how I was born and then you want to look like me because that's giving jealousy. But as long as you don't do that, as long as you pay your exotical tax, then I don't actually care if people want to look like us or they think we're pretty because it's like, number one, I can't control what hairstyles somebody else wears. I cannot control your hairstyle. I can't control what makeup you wear, what contacts you wear. If you changed your skin tone, whether you're blackfishing, whether you're bleaching your skin, I cannot control that anyway. So there's no point. Like that person, let's say a person bleaches their skin, for example. Okay, like they bleach their skin. They're Michael Jackson. Okay, now what? He's already white now. His skin is already like how it is. So, I mean, me calling it out or me trying to shame him, that is not going to suddenly make him dark-skinned again. All it's going to do is just make me look like I'm somehow either jealous of it or I'm somehow associating it with, oh, he automatically hates his blackness, which in Michael Jackson's case, I thought I did see something where he said something about his father, like he didn't want to look like his father or something like that because his father like mistreated him or something. I don't know. But I cannot control how other people want to look. I can't control other people getting plastic surgery. So that beauty pedestal or whatever privilege you're trying to go after, those privileges will always exist. So if you say to yourself, well, I don't want to lose weight, I don't care about thin privilege, that's fine. But somebody else is going to experience that thin privilege. So don't go and get mad when you see somebody else experiencing thin privilege, but then you just said you didn't care about thin privilege. No, obviously you did care about it because if you didn't, then you wouldn't get mad when someone else has that privilege. But anyway, what do you ladies think? What is your beauty standard for yourself? What type of pretty privilege do you have? Do you have the same type of pretty privilege as someone else who's maybe a celebrity or maybe a family member of yours? And are you willing to experiment with your pretty privilege and maybe take on a new one? Maybe you want to try out a different look. Let me know what you think in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.